Awesome. Thank you very much. Yes, we get to go one more time into the qualifiers before the major. New York versus Boston. A little bit of a rivalry, but will it match up in the actual game, Ton?
It should be a close one. It's a really hard one to call, saving the best for last in terms of how close the games have been, because let's face it, the first two, not that close. This one should be interesting though. Boston Breach and New York Subliners, topsy-turvy seasons across the board, but it's really hard to judge this Boston side with only playing a couple of games. So Scrapz, obviously, seeing him on this roster though, there are some good signs, to say the least. This first map though is an interesting one, especially, you know, for the side of New York. They started off Hotel Hardpoint so well at the beginning of the season, now 2-5 in their last 7. Need to improve on this map specifically, but Boston's struggles in this stage on Hardpoint have been very obvious as well. So a bit of a mid-off in this one, but excited to get into it nonetheless. Pricey.
No, I completely agree. We've been talking about these two teams for a little while, actually, about how they kind of position themselves going into the major. For a lot of people, the top teams probably Thieves, Surge, and of course OpTic. Far and ahead, looking like the titans to defeat. Do New York and Boston enter into that conversation? Will they be able to find maybe something in this game to show us just how they will compete at major number 4?
Scrapping over P1, but it's looking like Boston do, for the moment, have the rotation over towards P2, and that's something they have really struggled with Cramp, not struggling with the gunny. 2 kills falling his way, but back to my point, Boston Breach 12th on rotational percentage. They are the worst team in the game at managing to lock down some of these spawns, but it's looking good here for P2, soaking up some decent time at P1. Nice setup, nice start for Boston Breach.
Right now, Boston do have full control. Here come New York already. HyDra's managed to get a kill. So the lanes aren't really pushed out. They don't have everything they would want to. That last spawn should come in towards the back, and it does. And now New York trying to find a way through. Kremp unsure which way he wants to look here. He's got teammates with him as well, though. And New York for the execute, but they only really find one, and Kremp almost lets it go, but finds a 2-piece in the end. That's a 4 streak.
4 spree for him, and honestly, Boston were lucky to not get broken there. A lot of them concentrating towards the back, seemingly thinking that New York Subliners is just going to push through the broken window, but a couple of players pushing over towards the mid don't find anything. It looked like 3 kills for Subliners in the minimap, but they don't get away with it. Here, Awakening, staying alive towards the back, spawns towards the back still here for Boston Breach. New York Subliners will not find a break. Pretty much a full 60. The side of Boston Breach, I think, keep a hold of this scrap. Fight for the rotation is ongoing.
And while they've got the scrap time, to Boston find anything here at the moment? No. Beans is in, but Beans is stunned and Beans is down. For New York, it's an opportunity. It's the points they're going to want. It will take them into the lead if they can hold it. Boston spawn out miles. So it's going to be uncontested for at least a second time.
Yeah, good scrap from New York Subliners to just try and deter Boston Breach over towards P2, but it's giving Boston now time to set up for a potential break here. 45 seconds. 3 time going over towards Subliners. Priestahh lingering. Oh, can't find the fight. Gets some bad timing. That's 3 kills in. Subliners struggling at the moment. Rotation initially there for Boston Breach at P2. Break. Far too easy for Boston at P3. Good kills from Skyz though. Potential re-break coming up.
So look for it in the last few seconds. And looking for Awakening,
Nice.
but a big wake is better. And HyDra will fly in, but down it falls to Beans. And it will be KiSMET with the final 2. It is everybody going through, and KiSMET again in the kitchen. 5-3.
Oh my God!
Absolute snap, bang, crackle, and pop. KiSMET is dangerous in here, and it will be New York on the rotation as well.
Oh, how often do we see KiSMET pulling up big plays inside of the kitchen? That might only be for 15 seconds, but a highlight play of the day from Kiz. HyDra now setting up over towards the next hill. This one has just stepped up another level. Boston Breach managed to get this rotation. The pace that's been set by both these two teams is astronomical at this stage. Flying at each other. Kremp on a spree again. Eventually will fall on down. Boston Breach with a little bit of control here and still with the lead. Rotations have belonged to them. A couple of breaks here and there. Outside of KiSMET finding that 4 piece. New York Subliners have had nothing to write home about.
They haven't. They're just going to be fully over, but say that, and they get the kill feed completely. Only Kremp fighting back, but he finds a 2-piece. Leaves hope alive for Boston, but HyDra versus Nero. Long-range Vaz. It's not a fun fight for either player, but it will be New York who walk away with it.
Yeah, co-spawns come through, they push through, and it's kind of free at that stage. You get yourself into that position, you might as well get a hold of the scrap time, because this rotation is not very long. Boston have been set up for it, though, for quite some time. Looking straight over towards the restaurant side, and well, KiSMET can deal with one, but Boston looking like they're going to have this rotation locked in. Clearly been working on stuff. Rotations have not been good for them. Get a nice spawn towards the back as well. There's the pinch. Nice and free for Awakening. Good hold from Boston so far. Subliners quite far away from breaking this one, Bryce.
And again, it's over and over again. It's the same story. New York could probably be some way in the lead if they manage to just get a rotation under their belt, but it is not to be. Only breaking is saving them so far, but Awakening on a 4 streak is now holding them off. New York have not spread this at all. They're going to have to hit it 3 on one side.
Nero inside the point. The shots coming in. Boston Breach seem to be running away with this one. Still looking down the restaurant. The comms are surely flowing. Let's go for a listening with Boston Breach.
What's the thing?
Red laying down. Red dead. Dead. Nice.
He's fucking next to
No.
Here, guys.
Dead. Yeah, leave him. He's still back wall. Yeah, still there back wall. I spawned out. There's one.
I'm throwing my shit.
I got time. One court.
Got time.
Back court. On the cylinders. Okay, cylinders.
Deep left, there's both there, guys. One's going
by time. I have an
Main up and deep left.
Yep. I have a gun up. Back there. Yeah, got me. Back kitchen, back
In the corner.
Yeah. Yo, listen, buy time now.
Might be pinch right.
Yeah, play 2 minutes.
Yeah, one's flashing.
Yo, what's up? Back right, plant box.
What's the kitchen?
The box is time. Plant box. Dead. Top bed. I saw him middle. He's bed corner. Bed corner time.
Let's see, deep back.
Yo, back kitchen either.
Okay. I swung.
You wonder why the Subliners are struggling right now. It's a 60-point lead for the Boston Breach. A nice break comes through for Subliners off the back of a force pre from HyDra. He was initially sitting at 4 and 14. Starts to heat up. New York Subliners closing the gap just a little bit. Good shot from Beans to finally break this spree. Subliners have kept it within touching distance, but much better from Boston on those rotations over the first set of hills here, Bryce.
It's certainly something New York will have to adjust to. We'll see if they can do it right now. Both teams just posturing, trying to figure out if they can get some points onto this one, but 3 down for New York. Is it time for Boston for a little bit of soaking? They're also spreading out. They're making sure they don't lose spawns.
Yeah, New York seems to be a little bit despondent here. Slow to the punch where Boston seem to be moving fast. The engagements have been high from both these two teams, but HyDra and Priestahh eventually kicking themselves into gear here. Awakening trying to lock this down. Surely not. HyDra eventually does deal with him. So rotational fight going to go on in a second. Boston Breach spawning out over towards the restaurant side. New York Subliners will get a read on this in just a second. Doesn't seem to matter when Crep snapping as he is. But towards the back is HyDra. Could be influential for the Subliners here if he stays alive.
Said he wasn't having a good time. He's on a 4 streak now, and we said New York need to adjust. They're into P2. They have the rotation. They're now holding them off. HyDra towards the back is dancing around with him, but his teammates need to stay alive and reinforce. HyDra with his 5th. Still moving. Priestahh will find another one. Boston will get 2 off of Beans. Is it enough for them? KiSMET's going to be here. Skyz backs it up. And New York, the trades are there for them. They are getting these points back and are looking like a lead change.
Shots from KiSMET. Sublime. Not enough to finish up Crep, though. And eventually, this is looking like a break coming in for Boston Breach. HyDra's the only one who can answer, who has inevitably stepped it up. He was sitting at 4 and 14, now 14 and 17. He's having a better game. Scrappy P2 that Boston Breach have managed to find a break on, but New York Subliners is yet to give it up. Looking like rotation's going to come in for Boston. Spawns towards the back for them as well, though. This fight with Priestahh and Beans over towards the back is very important. Priestahh keeping the pressure on.
Oh, look at that. Everyone fighting for the back. Awakening's gone out there, but knows he's outnumbered.
So that's
actually has to completely back away, Ton.
It's a tough one. HyDra and Co. 3 inside of the kitchen. It took KiSMET to find 4 to break it open for them now. They're within touch and distance of the Boston Breach. Let's go for a listening for the New York Subliners.
One's gonna be throwing back. You want Dex bricks and back useless. Useless 10. Push out bed, one of you.
Have you guys mid?
I have storage. I spawn mid. They're getting dubs right now.
Down dubs.
Every dubs.
The whole storage.
I have your mid right now.
Yeah, mid. I can help time if I need to. I'm totally done.
Couch on me. Storage on me. Couch is dead.
I have your mid. You're good. You're good. I have your mid stuff. I'm helping time. Nice.
I'm going new, bro. I'm going lobby.
Push. I'm gonna go mid too, actually. There's 20 engine. Maybe bed.
I have lobby right now.
One's bed spawn.
Wine, Nero.
One's bed spawn right now.
Nero, lobby, absolute bed. Take lobby. Help me. Go to P4. Go to P4. Go. Help me. Where's the bed?
I don't know. I heard him.
Go to lobby, bro.
T2 then.
I'm trying. Beam, flash guy long. Try go. Running bed.
Nice. Top bed.
Watch out. I can't peek. I need a trophy. I need a trophy. They're spawning engine. They're spawning engine. You heard?
Top bed, guys.
I hear you. They're
One
spawning
lobby right now.
Top bed's not peeking me.
Top bed dead. Yeah, P2 right now. P2 right now.
P2? Yeah,
Up bed.
Yeah, I can see P2.
Watch out lobby. Absolute lobby. Absolute. He's like so one shot. Yeah, you can take it, Bucky. There's probably 2 lobby. I'm not even trolling.
Lobby. Need to share dead.
What do you got?
And New York have dialed it to 11. HyDra is in force, and there's going to be a sick to a cruise missile. He started off 4 and 14. He's now 20 and 17. A force to be reckoned with. The French phenom is fighting Boston back almost single-handedly at points.
Him and Skyz on this transition over towards the bar were absolutely sublime. HyDra cannot seemingly be stopped, but eventually does get taken down. Nero is the only one who can answer, but this might be it.
And there's just no way for Boston to get here in numbers. They are going to fall. A good start for Boston, but a better finish for New York. They turned up when they needed it. And that really is going to be the difference. First set of rotations, Boston was slaying. There was not the pressure there from New York. Second set of rotations, slaying, rotation, everything.
Everything fell their way. And really, just to highlight how bad HyDra was, as I said, 4 and 14. He ends up going positive over the game. A miraculous turnaround on his side of things. Dropping to 21 and 18. That is a substantial turnaround from HyDra. And I mean, look, it was kind of apparent the breaks weren't coming through. And the only decent break we've seen from Subliners in that first rotation was heading over towards Glass when HyDra started playing COD for the first time. Found 4 or 5 on that break there. And when KiSMET found those 4 kills over towards the kitchen side. In the end, it's just a much better second rotation of hills. That was Subliners. They got a hold of P2, P3. They were just chained those 2 hills together. And all of a sudden, it's a bit of a hard ask for Boston Breach to bring it back at that stage. I think they maybe actually even went 2, 3, and 4 all the way through. And that was pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered from that stage. KiSMET having a hell of a time over towards the kitchen side. I mean, Priestahh's just big chilling as KiSMET kills all 4. Not sure if that's the highlight we wanted. Magic out of Kiz, though, in that moment. And just for Subliners, considering that Boston Breach over that first rotation of hills seemed to be the ones on rotation every single time, seemed to be locking the hill down. For Subliners to keep it so close, then spurt them on in that second rotation where they just did not look back as soon as they took that lead. Boston Breach really push on in that second string of hills there, Bryce.
Yeah, 100%. And even then, when we get in the kitchen to go for it, you can see the rotation technically was a little bit in favor of Boston, but they just couldn't find anything in the end. New York hit a different level, they hit a different gear, and now they move into the S&D with a big W in that scoreboard.
And that's going to be a one that's going to sting Boston. 2 and 5 over the last 7 for New York on Hotel Hardpoint. Making that 3 and 5, bringing it back in. And remember how good that team were on that map in particular at the beginning of the season, showing that kind of form once again on Hotel. Scary prospect. I mean, you can point towards it. Obviously, HyDra stepping it up in that second half really did make the world of difference. And we stay on Hotel for the next 2 maps, of course, in Search and Destroy and Control. Needs to be turned around here for Boston. We've seen some good things from them on this map, but it's pretty even in terms of the statistics, so it's a hard one to call. But New York will be very happy to take away at the hard point there, especially considering their form recently.
Yeah, realistically, like I said, this is one of our benchmarking games. Coming into it, right? Boston haven't looked great this qualifier. They just haven't looked the Boston we were expecting them to be. A little bit of a dip in form, in my opinion. For New York, it's always felt like a battle back. They started off the season with a bang, and then 2 back-to-back majors have failed to produce. Going into major number 4, they want to change that reversal of fortune. The problem is there are other teams in ascendance right now that look very good. So for New York, you have to hit another level. You have to get back to the top here just to compete.
And I think on the other side of things as well for Boston, they're starting with this new roster. Is it, you know, Kremp coming in and caught us off guard massively. I mean, look, a lot of people had a lot of good things to say about Vivid. I was a big fan as well. Kremp coming in, though, it is a young team. I very much agree with Ali. This is a team who will develop over time. So I don't think they should be too concerned as of yet. Of course, not necessarily a brilliant stage from them, but I think there is still time. They're leading up to Toronto, leading up to champs. That's where they really have to be hitting their form, and there is time for this team to get better. There has been signs of that as well. But up against New York, you're gonna have to get better pretty quickly here. Search and Destroy coming up. Let's see how Boston are going to be feeling heading back over to control, but this time in search of destroy.
That's something we are certainly going to find out. The records here, I'm telling the biggest amount of stories. You can tell it's looking a little bit even, ton.
Yeah, I mean, if we look over to it specifically, New York have been playing it quite frequently as of recent. 4th time this stage, sitting at 2-1. And one thing I do want to point out, though, both these two teams allowing a lot of plants to coming down and love to plant the bomb on the attack. So expect a lot of plants to go down. It's going to be about retakes. It's going to be about first bloods and using those numbers to your advantage in terms of those plants. But look at Boston Breachers stack over towards A. New York Subliners played out lovely. Kitchen completely free. B plant could potentially be coming in very shortly.
Well, sometimes you hope for a counterplay. And New York obviously expects someone in B. That's the crazy thing. They have no idea nobody is here. It's just not a normal play. And they're even thinking about wrapping back, Tom.
Skyz hasn't found any information, though, so New York Subliners is quite unsure as to where Boston are. Just backing it on down, expecting the flank. But because Skyz has backed down from that position, you give up a lot of control, a lot of potential information that Subliners just do not have right now. Still searching for it, but with 35 seconds or so remaining on the clock, you need to find that information pretty quickly and do something with it.
Yeah, nobody knows anything. This is the crazy thing. Nero keeps jumping across, worries someone's going to chow. Krebs going to see Priestahh for the first time. Oh, he's going to find him as well, and he will get the first blood off. It's a rotation back for New York as well. Been so little information for both teams on this map.
Look at KiSMET.
Could be a late flank as well, but time is against them. Awakening just has to make one pick.
Look at KiSMET, he popped the dead silence to find the reflank, but you're right, Awakening just needs to find those picks. There's one player left here. That bomb's going to go down. Beans left all on his own. Goes for the snipe, misses it. Does bomb go down? Yes, it does.
However, Beans in a 1v1 has a sniper out. That player is below him. Beans with a pistol. Beans with a dead silence. A 1v2 clutching what has been a bit of a crazy round. KiSMET has not seen him either. It's going to be a ninja. KiSMET hasn't checked. KiSMET hasn't looked. KiSMET's being patient, but KiSMET's going to lose. And it's a ninja defuse. What an anticlimactic end of the round. What was that?
Ben Beans from top bedroom. The sniper onto HyDra. It would have been nice if he could have picked him off and getting onto that bomb. But he will take that one nonetheless. Snipe onto HyDra down low towards the desk side of things, and then I mean just kind of it's not being lucky at any stage. Maybe you got a call out, maybe he heard him pushing towards bottom bedroom, says, well, let's just jump it. Pros don't fake it. I'm a big advocate of defusing early. Goes for it. No check coming in. New York Subliners find themselves down there in a strange round. A really strange round considering how it ended and how it started. Both two teams finding very little information. Not the case here, though. A lot of stuns, a lot of nades going out. Beans has got a good idea that Subliners are around. But again, a very slow round. I said about these plants coming through, Bryce. It's been slow and steady at the moment.
Beans is going to get picked off by Skyz, and Kremp might be able to answer back here, but hasn't seen anybody, and it's just been the wrong direction every single time for him. Just not going to find him. Eventually finds Priestahh, brings it back to a 3 versus 3, and it has been found. One health of the dream.
Problem is here for Kremp as he goes for the challenge. I kind of want him to just survive there a little bit. Maybe thought he was a bit more surrounded than he necessarily was. For all that, Boston were making some noise over towards that B side, though. Bomb still over towards A. Subliners is now transitioning, albeit possibly a little bit too late. This bomb should go down to V2.
No, staying alive, but it is a bit of a pinch here. This is a huge gunfight. It's down to a 1v1. HyDra versus Nero. Both crack subs, and HyDra finds him easily. Nero going for a little bit of a pirouette off the stairs.
And I mean, look, it's easy for us to say we know exactly where the New York Subliners players are, but Nero coming up for the check there, bedroom control. In my mind, HyDra is, if you're thinking of playing against a player like HyDra, he's either in top bedroom, looking to try and find the exit kills, or is he flanking? And he kind of just jumps out towards lights. I don't really know what Nero's searching for there. Kremp dying towards the back spawn over towards B, challenging one, he's on 1 HP as well. Couple of little missteps.
Wow. Let's see, all tied up 1-1, and the best thing you can say about it is these rounds have been entertaining.
Oh, they have.
A little bit chaotic from both sides, but we'll see how it goes down here for New York. The split pick and patience didn't really work out for them in round 1, so aggression for round 2.
Big hit over towards it. 3 rounds out of 3. That bomb has been planted, albeit the last 2 very, very slowly. This one, very fast. HyDra. Speaking of fast, we'll find the kill over towards top bedroom. Now, this is your worst nightmare if you're Boston Breach. Skyz will cover off reception. This is just such a hard push. Boston going to have to pull out some unfavorable gunfights if they want to find this round.
This might all be on Kremp. I think Skyz heard him. Priest is going to find him before he can do anything. And Beans, what's a chow reception? But that is not a gunfight you want. And HyDra, they've let him loose. Exactly what you want to see from him. And Skyz will tidy it up as well. I always think when I watch New York S&D, just thank God HyDra doesn't have a sniper. Not that he's unskilled with it, but he's just so much more talented every time without it.
It's nice to see him just skating around the map. One of the hardest kills in the game. No doubt about it. So difficult to get a read on as well. He finds that kill towards top bedroom or over towards top glass, actually, if anything. Dips back into bedroom and all of a sudden he's a couches cover in the mid. Just so hard to get a read on. I was like, where's HyDra? Where's HyDra? Haven't a clue, mate. Don't know. 5-1 from HyDra. Hell of a step up after starting the first map. 4-14. 5-1. Now in the search and destroy.
HyDra again moving. This time Boston taking as much bedroom control as they can get. They will have it all. Skyz smashing windows. Every single one he can. It's going to be a hefty repair bill. But still, Boston playing this slow.
Plenty of control here. This is a good plant opportunity for Boston. Gonna go for it, but just a little bit too late. New York have been able to position themselves now to do something about this. Boston have went for the typical bedroom control. You got 2 players in there, but the bomb aimed down. 45 seconds. You just took far too long.
KiSMET, dead silence is popped. He's looking for bedroom. He knows players are here and finds one on the ladder. Dead silence reset. Still going, still hunting. But now in a better position, hiding in bedroom. Nero is here, doing a snapshot in the doorway and finds it. Down to a 2 versus 2.
Thing is, though, Subliners are in a good position to defend this bomb. They know where it is. HyDra will find 1 and 2 Awakening. The new Nero was in bedroom. Gotta go for the child. The round was probably done. New York Subliners. I don't want to say they've been offered anything from Boston, but Boston seems to just be playing a little bit slow, a little bit cautious. Sometimes it's best just to get the bomb down and see what happens. In that scenario, they took their time. They had the control that they wanted for some time as well. 2 players into towards bedroom, top or bottom, wasn't too sure, but either way, HyDra's feeling himself right now. 8-1.
Yeah, it's not something you want to see. A happy HyDra is a sad other team. And for Boston, their only round win so far has come from a ninja defuse in a 1v1. Let's see if Boston can adjust, if they can find something better. HyDra on his streak is moving fast. And it means Kremp is about to come up against this monster.
Boston really need to step this up yet. Hotel control coming up next. New York's in the 10-5 overall on the season. It's not a typical one for Boston Breach that they do play either. Search and Destroy really does need to go their way. Can Kremp start something for them now? We'll defend this. Subliners will just back down. Wow. You just disappeared, Brycey.
Yeah, pretty much. And Boston still trying to figure out exactly what's going on, but HyDra will find Kremp. Awakening gets a trade coming through. Down to a 3 versus 3. New York have switched the battlefield, though. And it'll be Beans who could be the difference here again. Sniper in hand. KiSMET may have seen him as well. Trying to get out of there with his life. Beans does stay.
Nero is going to check it in time. Nobody will find KiSMET. Skyz takes down the big scope of Ben Beans, and it's now 2 versus 2. Subliner set up towards the back. Awakening is going to be the catalyst for a round win here.
Has to get in position in time. Clock is ticking. You can already see Awakening and Nero trying to reposition for the best position possible. But Priestahh takes down 1. It's a snaking game. Awakening will have to look towards them. But he doesn't want to. He finds the first. Where is Skyz? He's seen him. He's seen him. He's seen him. He's seen him. He's going to try and get away. No wall bang for him. And Skyz will recheck in just a few seconds. Awakening will be defeated by the clock. And the perfect reach out from Skyz gets the kill as well. And it's just going to be upset there for Awakening. He saw him, but hit nothing but heals.
Skyz has been investing in his 100-meter dash, if you like. Just running away as quickly as he can. Just playing the time in that scenario. Risky. Could have held it. New Era Awakening it was, but Hey, I wouldn't want to challenge that gunfight either. Gets himself away. Just secures it. Just, by the way. Very, very low on health. 4-1 to the Subliners now, and I think you're right. You know, you look at the round they have won. An unfavorable one, to say the least. That's going to help, though.
Good nade, actually, from Boston. They got Skyz on the back foot. Boston being aggressive. Priestahh has to back down as well. That ball will go down early here for Boston. It's a much better round prospect for them already.
Well, KiSMET is already behind them.
Yeah, except for that.
Potential setup here. Bean's going to be watching over towards the reception side. He's going to be sniffed out as well. Priestahh, KiSMET combining well. 3v2.
Looking for it straight away. KiSMET is going to jump on it. Nero's going to be back at him. There is one bottom light as well.
This might be done.
But it's going to be a ninja defuse in the face. It's going to be a ninja defuse in the face. Nero finds it eventually, though. Still be outnumbered. 1 versus 2. Priestahh trying to stretch it so he can do it in cover. Nero going to go for the wallbang again. Wallbang on both sides. Doors, bullets, everything is being diffused. And Skyz will eventually find Nero. What a horrible gunfight.
So tough for Nero. Goes to recheck from the same spot. It's a 50-50. They could be watching angles up towards bedroom. There's so many different ways that you could have went from, but because he starts spraying, that doesn't have any information on the bomb whatsoever because the doors are completely closed. Gets one off it. Boston breach. Flailing here. New York just seems so solid. I mean, it's kind of the same story as what we've seen in the previous game. The vibes looking very different at the bottom of the screen to what they are on the top of your screen. Boston just not able to lock in on what New York are doing. HyDra actually got team killed in that round and New York still win.
Well, for Boston, it has been a horrible time here. Certainly won't want to come back to this map anytime soon. Nothing they're doing is going right, but Nero will find first blood this time. Is there a hope? Is there a way back here for Boston?
New York Subliners, plenty of restaurant control. They're moving very, very quickly. Nero could do with getting in the kitchen before they find this break. He isn't able to, so kitchen control very much on the side of New York Subliners. That bomb should go down and will.
And now here's the retake. Keep an eye to Skyz. Actually might be in a good position. Unfortunately, his teammates are already falling. He's trying to have a gunfight himself. Priestahh jumps out the door. They are heavily outnumbered here. But Skyz will find the first. Looks for the second as well as Boston start to collapse. Scrapz will find Priestahh. Skyz in a 1 versus 2.
23 seconds, just playing this one patiently. That bomb diffusers are going to come in. On Overwatch is Awakening. Cremp is there as well. Expecting the child to come in through pantry, and they guess correctly. Boston breach a much, much needed round. Subliners made it interesting, but it's so difficult. You could see Priestahh's trying to child out with small door there because he's like, okay, we're in a 2v4. I need to maybe just try and find a play, make a play, find a pick. Couldn't find anything. Skyz does his best, but push is always going to come one way. If he comes through the double doors, Awakening is going to see it. Cremp is going to be in cover and easily able to trade if Awakening falls. Good retake from Boston. Now all of a sudden, is this maybe a game on our hands? Still quite a few rounds in a row that they're going to need here, Bryce.
These rounds have not been easy that they have got either. That round could have been a disaster. And the other round they got was, of course, the ninja defuse. Boston need an adjustment completely, but HyDra's already looking to make a move up way towards the map, and it's kills everywhere. And oh my goodness! One of the fastest rounds we've seen. Too fast to keep up with the action. I think it was a final 2-piece by Cremp, but everybody hit at the same time.
Yep. Pops them up top. Snaps on the KiSMET. This kid has got the gunny though, hasn't he? Every single time we're on board with him, the snapper with the Vaznev. Wow, okay, so there you go. Yeah. Production informers for the first bullet that was shot in the round to the very last bullet in the round took 4.2 seconds. Absurd.
Yeah, maybe a record in terms of round speed, but we'll see if it continues. A little bit of adjustment there for Boston. Work down on the gunfights. 2 rounds on the bounce for them. In New York, this would be a horrible defeat. Harrowing in the memory, but here it comes. Skyz cruise missile in for information.
Yeah, information and just site control. This may well have forced them over towards the A side. Going to send it towards the back of B. No, there's nobody there. Subliners now converge over towards A. Can't find the fight though. HyDra turns away for just a second. Nero will find him. Beans finds Skyz as well. Boston Bridge staring down the barrel of the 3rd round in a row here. Subliners Use your cruise missile. Lose the round inevitably. KiSMET now in the 1v4.
Well, that dog in him is going to have to be Cerberus. There's no other way to get this. He is so outnumbered, does not have the bomb. There's pick and move in clutch situations, but Beans is shouldering. There are players all around him as well. And as soon as he makes a move, too many gunfights.
He does absurdly well to find one, to be honest with you. Jumps around the corner, finds one, but it's just a really good start from Boston in that scenario. The cruise missile comes in, and Boston are not really in a position where I want to say New York can do a lot with the reposition that they're going to have to go into. So the cruise missile comes in, Boston are going to have to move into some sort of cover. But New York, in that scenario, is it not just better to kind of go for that A plant there? You force the players away, or if there's any players have pushed up towards that A site, it'll force them either into you or back. They don't really get a lot of information with it. Boston just hold tight and hold their angles. 5-4. Getting a little bit scary for New York now.
Boston. Again, it's a big hit towards the mid here. The trades are going down once again. Nero will find two. New York on the back foot. Priestahh will get one back for them as well. It's a 2 versus 2. The round doesn't end in 4.2 seconds. It continues.
Same theory, though. Both teams just heading towards the middle of the map and scrapping it out. It's worked in our favor every single time, but Awakening, dead silence popped and making a move. Pushing over towards B. Boston have a couple of options and plenty of time, Bryce. 50 seconds to go in this 2v2. Dead silence pop from the other side of things as well. The snap from Priestahh, though, might well do it. Awakening now in a 1v2.
And how does that happen? Took 3 bullets and then just died. Awakening looking for Priestahh, though. Gets it back to a 1v1. Hope alive. Skyz versus Awakening. Once teammates, now bitter enemies for this round.
Did Skyz see him on the cross there before when he jumped over? Whatever happens, Skyz looks like he's read this correctly. Time is not on Awakening's side. If Skyz can get the check on this bomb, then maybe something could be done about it, but looks like it's going to go down. But is he going to get away? The answer is no. The bomb doesn't go down. And Subliners, it got a little bit scary for them there, but they close out the search and destroy in a commanding position in this series. It's a big game from New York. Got to be feeling good heading into the control. Boston, the comeback. Too little, too late.
Well, we have a potential game on our hands still because there is a few more rounds to go and it has been close between these two teams. Ton, I don't know how you're feeling. For me, Boston showed a few signs of life, but it is New York all the way.
Yeah, I mean, look, New York were dominant throughout. You talk about the round that Boston won out of the first 6. It was only due to some good play from Beans, good heads-up play with the defuse. The scope is effective for Boston, I want to say. You know, I mean, Beans may well only have 4 kills, but a lot of them were coming in important times of keeping people off that bomb, but just couldn't really play around it as well as they would have liked to. Subliners pretty much in commanding position all the way through. And the comeback from Boston, this is all kind of hedged your bets on HyDra and how he's been playing the game. Started it off, I think, I want to say he was 8 or 9-1 at one stage. Gets team killed by Priestahh, doesn't really find much else for the rest of the game. Subliners scrape over the line, but we're comfortable throughout. And control coming up as well. We're staying on hotel, of course. Boston with a negative record. New York 10-5. Very much a surprise to see the fact that this slips through. Boston letting it happen. Staring down the barrel of the 3-0. Can the reverse sweep start with hotel control? I'm not too sure, Brycey. I think it's a tall order for Boston at this stage.
It is. It is genuinely a tall order. The odds are against them. And they've had some good starts and maybe a bit of a better finish on that S&D, but they were always the underdog coming into this game realistically. And for Boston, they would have to have an incredible pep talk ton in between game 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them, but this is their pick technically. They choose to get rid of Expo so that hotel comes through. They could have picked out, they could have went with a completely different angle with it. Choose to stay with the hotel control. So is there something up their sleeve potentially on this one? It's a bit of a strange pick. Maybe they got something for us.
Maybe they do, but we have something for you. Here is, of course, Spylight. It's time to guess that pro and try to figure out who it is via the clues we give you. So, won his first ever grand final in 2018. Won back-to-back CWL events in 2019. and has not missed any qualifier matches since they were introduced in Cold War. Not the easiest ones for that one, but that is our Spylights presented by Citadel on Prime Video. Come back after the break to find out who this is. We'll see you right after this.
Can I trust you?
Of course. Can I trust you?
Always.
Eight years ago, you two were Citadel's top spies, but we were double-crossed by one of our own, and your memories were erased. I brought you here because I need your help.
I coached Little League.
There's my guy. Right now, every agent around the world is looking for you two.
Nadia.
Perdone, I think you have the wrong person.
Should have stayed dead.
You're gonna wish I was dead.
You remember?
I remember everything.
It was Mason Kane.
Mason Kane is dead.
Whoever betrayed us is readying for something cataclysmic.
Are we together?
Don't flatter yourself.
Never?
I'm exceptionally skilled at getting Citadel agents to turn.
You did this.
Mason can never find out.
You told me to trust you.
Why would you trust me? I'm exceedingly untrustworthy. I'm a spy.
We were set up.
There was no one else. It's just you and me.
Everything you know is a lie.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by the new series Citadel, premiering on April 28, only on Prime Video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. This is Spylights presented by Citadel. Who is that pro? Won his first ever grand final in 2018, won back-to-back CWL events in 2019, and has not missed any qualifier matches since they were introduced in Cold War. Khan, who do we think?
No, I haven't got a clue, mate. Don't know. Genuinely don't know.
All right, it's time to reveal that pro.
Oh, there you go.
It's Priestahh.
see.
There we go.
I thought that was probably one of the more difficult ones. It wasn't easy. I usually just look at the silhouette and see if I can figure it out by that one, to be honest with you. And it didn't work.
That was definitely one of the more difficult ones we've had, but that was Spylights, presented by Citadel on Prime Video. And now we get back to our game. Boston Breach versus the New York Subliners. It's been all good for New York so far. 2-0 up in the series ton, and Controller's next.
It is, and I'm very surprised we're on Hotel. I was as surprised as the desk. Looking towards the statistics, Boston typically do like El Asilo, New York hate it, so New York always going to ban it. And then you have Expo on the line, potentially. Boston 1-0. Seemingly had an okay time, 3-1 against Vegas. With that win, choose to get rid of it. So then we go on to New York's favorite map in the 10-5. I mean, Boston have vetoed this 70% of the time that they get a chance to get rid of a control. It has been Hotel. But yeah, they're playing one of the best Hotel teams. I don't know what to tell you. To be honest with you, New York are going to be feeling good about this, but if Boston gets something up their sleeve, that's what I wonder.
Well, you'd hope so. And one of the reasons we've got to this one, but let's see if they can do anything here. Krem waiting back out the door. HyDra's going to be sitting on the other side of it, but Krem figures it out. And now Boston have a commanding chance to get in here.
Get themselves some control. New York Subliners going to go for the mid-map push. Shouldn't be many trophies about, they will know it. Here come the nades. Skyz will find one. KiSMET taking down Awakening, and it's a swift retake by the looks of things, but it looks like maybe a tick is going to come in for Boston Breach. They can take away that small win, but New York Subliners will clean them off the map. Pushing up towards glass now as well. It should funnel Boston Breach over towards A, where Priestahh is pretty much alive and kicking and waiting for the Boston Breach to come over, but B still seemingly a threat. New York Subliners going to have to answer this. Wow.
Oh my goodness, Krem doesn't even react in time, and KiSMET just waits for him as they fall once again here. For Boston, they may have a tick on the board, but time is ticking. Beans again, they're going for B. They are not stopping this pressure.
Usually teams will give up the ghost and just head over towards A, but Boston yet to even consider it. Awakening following through, and KiSMET will now be here to just try and slow things down. They're going to have any indication as to where KiSMET is. Sitting over towards bottom bed. Here comes the push now. Needs some help from the rest of his team as the push from Boston is looking good. But KiSMET just cleaned up everybody. Skyz is there to help. And Boston continuously pushing towards B. Only have 10 seconds to extend this run.
They've got bodies onto it here, but Skyz is alive as well. Eventually, Boston, a bit of a breather. That second tick is coming through. Krem finds one as well. And New York give it one last chance with that fall. I don't think they'll be able to. It is in, and we are over to A with just a bit of time to spare.
And look at Awakening already here to try and slow down the retake that's going to come through from Subliners. Subliners committed a locked over towards B, haven't quite lost control of A yet. Honestly, a bit of a misstep from Subliners, to be honest. Boston just kept up the pace, and I wonder if that's maybe kept New York on their toes just a little bit, thinking, okay, well, surely they're going to go into A at one stage. They don't. Nero code, no. Now, try and get some control over towards the kitchen side. They're in the point as well. This is looking like such a poor start to the round for Boston, but they've been lights out since they got a hold of B.
Well, maybe one of those regions has been 7-2. They've stepped it up and slaying. And that second tick is halfway done. It looks like New York are trying to go for it, but Krem's holding off on his own 4-streak. Down he falls to Priestahh. Still bodies flying into this point eventually. And New York do manage to get in a restaurant just about.
Awakening staying alive is crucial. Can't let Subliners make that push over towards the kitchen. Skyz and HyDra will clear them out, though. Skyz finds another. Crucial that Beans found that the team spawn up nearby. 29 seconds, 7v5 on the lives front. New York cannot afford to lose any more lives. Neither can Boston.
And they took so long on B. That time hasn't been amazing for them. And that's another kill down as it's just been furious around restaurant. Neither team allowing the other to really get a full foothold in. KiSMET staying alive. And Boston, they were doing so well, but now time is against them. One last push for it as well. Nero will die to a nade. Krim gets on the KiSMET. HyDra with the flag finds one. Will he find the second? No. There's a beat down by Awakening. Skyz on the point, and he gets it. He gets one kill, doesn't need the second. Boston Breach were there. They had the numbers, they had the kills, but they do not get the round.
Nero killed himself in the build-up to that in kitchen with a nade. I'm not quite sure how it's happened. Oh, but Awakening doesn't quite get the touch, and Skyz just does it by surviving. What a stressful one. What a strange one, to be honest with you. Yeah, look, let's see.
Oh, there's the self-nade from Nero. It's under the wall, and he tries to jump past it, and it's a lovely little explosion. Yeah, not a good time. Not a good time.
Good catch from production. Shout out to the observers as well. And that's a crucial moment. Nero's still alive and kicking towards the end of that round. It's a 2v1. Trying to push out the Skyz. Maybe you get to the point quicker. Is Nero in a position? There's so many variables in that scenario if he doesn't kill himself with the nade. Good start from Boston, though, on the defensive side of things. New York are the best attacking team in the game. Boston going to have to be at their best not to go 2-0 down here.
Eventually, they will find HyDra as well. And Priestahh says, all right, I'll reposition for this one. And they know he's going to be here. Scrapz knows exactly where Priestahh will be, but maybe a bit of cut timing as he falls. And for New York Subliners, it's safe option A to begin with.
Nice and steady away. Nothing too silly. Beans here in a position to do something about this. We'll find one. Expecting a push to come through. Those players are here, but that's going to be the second tip coming through. The New York Subliners over towards the A side. Still a little bit of control for them, but Boston are here in numbers. Good clear off on Beans and Cremp, and looking on the other side of things. Awakening ready over towards B if a push comes through.
And now for New York, it's a question of pick your poison. Beans going to fall. Oh, no, he's not. Beans is not going to find KiSMET. He's going to be destroyed by the drop shot in the end, and Cremp is actually going for a pre-fire. He's going to fall at the same time. New York now have a route into A. Boston will not go back there. They will have to make sure they don't fall over at B.
Yeah, Beans finding 2 important kills there. Skyz falling. And HyDra, not able to find anything. Beans is having a hell of a game and needs to. Subliners are going to secure A. Now the push over towards B is going to be difficult. Boston breach, complete bedroom control. Cremp and Beans all sitting up top. You with getting rid of Nero here as well. So there you go. The flank now going to come into full effect. Awakening with an important job to do. But Boston in a good spot here. 22-15 on the lives front is a nice little advantage to have as well.
Yeah, they have full map control. They've split the map horizontally. Exactly what you're expecting. It means New York have to go into areas where they've got to check corners or hit a power position. For New York, they need a hero. They need something to just break this down a little bit and take Boston off the setup they've currently locked in.
50 seconds to go. Can you find yourself a pick to maybe break this open? Nero will find 1. Nero will find 2. Beans another. My goodness me, Nero. 3 kills to just break that attack completely down. It's 4 in a row. He'll just continue to put this pressure on you. Spawning up. You're already being shot. Nero putting the pace onto New York Subliners here. This has been a wonderful hold from Boston.
Well, there's a potential kill, but time is away from them. It means they are going to have to run the risk. They're going to have to fly. Awakening, backing up, backpedaling, and rechalling as well. It's a wrong call there from Priestahh. And Boston have played this defense here at B perfectly. They have not missed a step, and they must not miss a step for 10 seconds, son.
4 lives remaining, make it 3. Nero has been a raid boss in this round. Another 3 for him and Boston. Wonderful, wonderful defense. New York Subliners have got nothing for them here. Great work from Boston to tie it up.
Yeah, you have to give them full credit. That was a masterful defense. Nero just not even missed. Didn't even get hit, and wow, that turn and burn is ridiculous. You see, a little bit of a smile there from Nero. But he knows there's a long way to go, Tan. Still a lot of control and potentially 2 more maps.
I believe that's going to be advantage now. Over towards Boston in terms of the defensive round 5, if we get that. Depends what side of the camp you're on, really, in terms of what you prefer on this one. Attack, defense. Attack has been slightly leaning towards the more favorable as the season has went on. So what are Boston going to try and do here? Push over towards couches. Priestahh with a good first kill. Good, solid hold. And New York Subliners typically just go for the mid-map control and then pivot to where they need to. And while they've pivoted, back into the respawn queue. Priestahh, HyDra falling. Beans keeping the pressure on over towards B as well.
And Boston seem to have this one as one of their mainstays. Trying to keep it mixing. Unfortunately, they fall, which they can't do any more here. Cremp looking for the player who knows he's going to be here as well. Priestahh gets away. Trying to split corridor. Cremp worried about having to watch his own back here still at the moment, but the chow comes in and Priestahh does not come away better for it.
Push up from Skyz towards top lights is going to force Boston to be spawning nice and close. They're going to find the kills and they're capturing the zone. Cremp, 2 big snaps. Every single time he's on our screens, we're getting the POV of a very, very talented Slayer.
And for Boston, They know they have A. They're already going to just... There are two benefits for this, right? Like, if your team continue to play around this and use it, you basically get extra time in this round because the clock is stopped and you're doing a slow tick progression. And that's what they want here. They want to try and get him away from him as well, but he is going to die. Kremp alive on a 3 here, and if he can find another kill, it will mean that Boston could capitalize.
HyDra and Skyz going to be so crucial for Subliners now. Boston just seem to be running through them. That's 5 in a row from Kremp. Get some help from his teammate. That's now a bit of control over towards the bar side. HyDra, of course, they will know exactly where he is. He's going to be behind them at some stage. Kremp keeping an eye on it as the rest of the team just trying to get some mid-map control of you New York Subliners, and that's where the push is going to come from.
There you go, Boston holding on though. Kremp waiting on a 5 streak. He was a cruise missile for himself, but there are players all around him, and he's looking for it. Will eventually fall, Ton. And HyDra now going to just try and get bedroom control. Let's keep Boston off of this B point.
It's felt like Subliners have been on the back foot for the majority of the game, hasn't it? Never really seemed to be in a controlling position. HyDra with another poor start to a respawn. Sitting at 10 and 20, but this man can find important kills inside the bedroom, left, right, and center. Beans putting a lot of bullets in, though. HyDra has to back on down, but putting himself into a position to maybe do something about it here. Awakening with a challenge, Priestahh with the backup. Boston have just not been able to weed out every single New York player so they can actually find a solid hold over towards B. They do have Nero in the spawn. Shall come from Kremp, never going to win that against HyDra. 5 spree for him.
And you are right, HyDra. Again, still on the respawn, and maybe it'll be a difference if he turns up now. Could be good night for Boston, but that's a horrible thing to happen. Trevor goes down, but he dies from the nade explosion anyway. HyDra trying to stay alive will eventually fall. Boston looking to capitalize. They've got KiSMET bodies here. It's going to be KiSMET, the main man. Finds one, finds the second. Easy reads for KiSMET.
They're so clean with the shots. Makes the play around as Boston slowly and steadily find some sort of control, but they haven't been able to here. Boston being put to the sword in round number 3. Will find themselves 2-1 down, needing to find a defensive side of things if they want to continue in this series, but maybe they have an opportunity here. Only 4 lives remaining.
One last chance. 3 lives remaining. Wait a minute. They've got onto the point. It's currently a 2 versus 2. Surely this is not the stuff dreams are made of. Skyz is going to find one though, and Beans is alone, and he isn't going to be able to win that many gunfights. New York get their defense locked.
It's 2 defenses now for the best attacking team in the game when it comes down to hotel control. They didn't really get much of a sniff in the previous round. Boston limited them as much as they could. But Subliners very much now match point. And that was really solid from Subliners. They never really let up. And when they did lose bedroom control, you could rely on good timing in terms of positional play coming in from KiSMET. Finds an empty route and gets himself behind them. Finds a couple of kills to completely destroy the attack. If you look at the slaying perspective, Boston above and beyond. The important one is at the top middle of your screen. 2-1 to Subliners now, who are now on the attack. Find a kill over towards A. This may well be A gone already. Boston, you're going to be able to answer what is a 3-stack. That's gone, boys.
Yeah, it's going rapidly here, and Boston may look for some exit kills. Certainly not going to really be worth them for challing. Already you can see they just want to make sure. One thing they haven't done yet is split this map. They did it so well last time around. New York couldn't get anywhere.
Awakening will be the one to finish out the trades. Boston now get themselves in a position where they can set up on the map. Skyz is going to take one down. Look, KiSMET, here we go. On the flank. Just seems like New York are starting to put the pace on a little bit here. There's been no slowing down from Kiz. Priestahh is going to fall, but the pressure just starting to run in, and he's going to say invite them onto the point. Kremp's going to get called out now that the push can come through. If HyDra can find a second, a good position for New York.
They are going to be slightly outnumbered though. They need reinforcements through quickly. HyDra tries to get out of the point so he can stay alive. Finds a fast one as well, and he's snapping. HyDra has just had the adrenaline dumped fully into his system. And the best thing they are doing here is they're trying to get Boston on the back foot, keep this chaotic, do not let them get bedroom control. Unfortunately for New York, they lost the gunfights, and they're going to have to reset and try again.
Boston ready for the mid-man push. No, because they pushed up over towards the bedroom side, that the spawn's not going to be there for New York. And they're correct on that one. HyDra were the first one to fall. New York just slowly trying to pick their way through the map, but gets to find an actual pick. Nero, it's been a menace around this area. So hard to get off this reception desk. The snake in the vase. Very solid with it. Subliners taking their time, 1 minute and 5 seconds or so to go. Lives very even.
Just waiting. Nero versus HyDra. Nero in this power position. I think the last time we saw him was a 3-piece. Skyz and HyDra will double challenge. Here it goes. HyDra goes for the first one. Nailed out. Skyz for the chow round as well, but Nero just cannot be defeated. Until he reloads and down he falls. Beans though has to hold it. He's now the last one alive. New York look to capitalize. They have the numbers.
Good play from Beans, just expecting to push, but KiSMET will get a hold of him. Prime position now for New York. You say that, but the nade came over from Cramp. Skyz trying to stay alive inside the point. You need a trophy down. You need to just hold on for the rest of the team coming on the respawn. Nero on the flank as well is going to be crucial.
And Nero has found it, and he's found it all, and Boston will clear it out again. For New York, maybe the biggest thing was getting another tick in towards it. But Beans is beaming. 32 and 16.
One more opportunity for New York. But every single kill feeds over towards Boston, just puts them in the best scenario. Cramp around the crouches has been such a nuisance. Good play from Boston. May well be a close one. A couple of occasions it looked like it was touch and go, but they are able to secure some kills, and this should be the round unless New York Subliners can pull a rabbit out of the hat. It's not looking likely. 5 seconds to go. Round 5 is where we're heading.
When Boston are set, it is too difficult to break them. New York had a chance, but maybe Beans getting Priestahh was the crucial moment. Just denied New York the reinforcements they needed. And as we go into a round number 5 here, the question was asked at the beginning, Ton. Why have Boston walked happily into this one? The statistic did not favour them. Turns out they were feeling confident for a reason.
And New York have kind of had to clutch up in a certain way on the defenses, whereas Boston have been kind of steady away. It's 2 defensive wins for each team. I think Boston will probably get defensive round number 5.
They should do. I believe they have more ticks.
Yeah. You see, I didn't trust my maths, but there we go. It was just intuition.
Dead smart in the end there, Ton.
I do try.
Let's see. Pretty much starting off like the other ones here. New York taking immediate control of A. Boston not really too bothered.
And I think for New York, you know, they're quite happy to go on the attack. I mentioned a couple of times. In terms of round win percentage on the attack, they are the best team in the game. And for all that, Boston have found these kills over towards the A side, Awakening Nero on a combined 10 spree. It's allowed New York Subliners to get a little bit of control over towards the B side.
Cramp's seen here as well, but it might be a pitch that comes through. KiSMET is going to be on the point, but he's going to be alone. Takes a few bullets through the box. And Awakening trying to hold them off here. He's on a 6 streak himself.
Big kills.
He's waiting for
Big
this one.
kills.
Priestahh gets 2. That's going to be a stack, and we're going to see a cruise missile come in as well. I hope there's going to be enough trophies on this point.
Here it comes. We're going to call. I don't think he's going to have time. I don't think he's going to have time. He's going to come in. It's going to be a little bit late. Cramp's going to find one, but does HyDra lock it in? Oh, it's so close. Bust and breach. Just about get there. But a lot of damage done over towards the B side. And now, New York Subliners, can you lock in some more time to just make it a little bit easier? 50 seconds to go, Bryce.
And that is heartbreak for New York if they had got it. But Boston do just enough. Already you can see HyDra's gone over there himself. He's like, I might just go and get it if I can. He's found 2 himself as well. Cramp looking for the players he's seen so far. Trying to make sure they don't get onto B and lock it down already. Cramp's going to find Priestahh. Can he find the last one? And KiSMET, he does. Again, they stop them. And New York is like throwing good money after bad.
Yeah, for all that Boston's defenses have looked clean so far, this one has just about been in touch. Cramp on a 6 spree though. Cruise missile in the back pocket will eventually get taken down. That should be it for Subliners. I can't imagine that Boston would even risk it. Cruise missile's going to be sent over just to maybe slow it down, and maybe they are going to risk their A retake here. They want this one done.
There we go. Beans is going to get 1. 2 players back into here. There'll be a retake. Beans is going to find 2 as well. Cramp going to go and find KiSMET. And Skyz the last one alive with Priestahh. Boston want this done. They do not want an opportunity for B to even exist. Unfortunately, they cannot break through. Awakening will hit this flank. He's looking for kills. Probably not going to be able to take this one away from them. And he finds 1. Nothing. We're going to B.
Big fight just went down over towards the bedroom side as well. HyDra up against Nero. He will fall. And for all that time is extended for Subliners yet, the lives are not on their side. Kills are just going to be so crucial. They bled a lot there, Boston. I think they knew that A was probably gone just because of the fact they pushed up the B side. York Subliners is going to spawn over towards the A. Yes, okay, you're going to go in there and cause some problems, but you've made those spawns, those lives, very much on your side. Kremp with the cruise missile as well as you get out of jail free card, but you have to still be perfect. HyDra gets taken down on the flank. New York Subliners, 6 lives remaining.
New York can just not break bedroom. Over and over again, they hit this flank, they make the kills and die to bedroom. Priestahh, how on earth did you make that one? But he's going to be reach out as well. And the kills keep on falling. Boston, never broken a beat. HyDra, with 18 seconds left to go, this will be a whole movie if they can make it.
Still doable. 3 of you alive in dangerous positions. Leans towards the back. This next kill is important. Priestahh, HyDra, that'll fall. It's only 1 left in bedroom. They may well be able to do it. All 3 of them wipe everyone from Boston. I don't think they're close enough. And they're not.
Oh no! A 3 versus, and they find every kill. It's a full wipe, and you can see the exasperation on Boston. They know they've thrown it in the bin. Composure gone, the record gone, the map gone, B gone. Boston, you're broken, you're busting, you're out of here.
That is a hard one to take for Boston Breach. So good in their defense until the final moments. And honestly, it felt like they just threw some of the... Yeah, we need to see how it broke down. Battle Beans dropped a 40 for the L. This slaying-wise, I mean, what? I'll try and figure it out, but even Kremp and Beans are sitting at a collective, what, positive 25? I mean, they have outslain them by 27 kills with the L.
That is outrageous. I was already looking at that breakdown and thinking about the next map ton. And here we go. 3 versus 10. Skyz finds the first. Priestahh finds the second. HyDra finds Beans. And 1 player left. It's Nero. And Skyz calls it correctly. They didn't have bedroom control. There are breaks and then there are breaks. And that was perfect.
And that is just a result of the initial good start from New York over towards B. Find those first 2 ticks, and then that is all it takes. 1 decent little break over towards B. Doesn't matter if you've got 3 lives remaining. It doesn't matter if you've got 25 lives remaining. You find 1 good break, B can be gone. Success for New York in kind of the East Coast derby, of course, if you like, but a 3-0.
Not a kill. Not a kill.
I mean, the kill side of things was absurd. There was nearly 2 40 bombs from Boston, and they still couldn't beat them on it.
Wow. Subliners now 5-0 against Boston all time. I'm still a little bit shell-shocked at the end of that one, to be honest with you. I thought Boston had that one in the bag and we were going to the next hardpoint ton, but a 3 versus 10.
Yeah, I was kind of checked at that stage, but it was because New York had a lot of pressure over towards the spawn. They always seemed to have spark control in those final moments. They weren't winning the majority of the gunfights, but it doesn't matter if you lose the majority of them. And I think that is just such a testament to it's not all about slaying. That was a positive 27 for Boston. They lose it 3-2. Kills don't always matter.
No, they certainly don't. Well, 3 games, 3 3-0s, and over to 3 wonderful people to break this one down. Puckett, over to you.
My KD's bigger than yours, and so is my seed. Boston going up against OpTic now in the first round, according to the Puckett math. We'll see if that one comes true. Our Wizards are working on the bracket right now. But let's talk about this win for the Subliners, because this is now 4 teams with 4-1 records. How impressive is New York among them?
I mean, that was a really impressive win by New York. I said they kind of needed to make a proving statement with this match, and I think they did just that. I think the fact that this was a 3-0 doesn't kind of spill the whole story. I think Boston put up an incredible fight. I think Nero really showed up today. I felt like he needed to match HyDra, and I think he did just as that. Just some of the cards didn't play out in their favor.
Nameless, let's take a look here at this game 3 once again. It was an impressive start. New York gets that 2-game lead. Then we're going into the 3rd game of control. New York up a round, then Boston starts to battle back. This one went all the way to that 5th and final round, into the 3 last lives for New York.
I know, Puckett, like just that situation was so insane.
we saw what New York was trying to do. Like, they were trying to go all the way around back P2. A couple players died, and then it's HyDra who pushes around at the very end, finds 2 kills. You saw Boston maybe playing a little bit too aggressive in their spawn, and then at the very end, they have a guy L-Desk and a guy top bedroom. You can set up there. L-Desk can look at mid, top bedroom can look at plat, but the comms must have just been absolutely insane because L-Desk had no idea what to do. He's just staring at the point. He gets hunted down, and then they lose the round in a heartbreaking fashion. I mean, that was tough to watch.
Here it comes.
Yeah, I was watching Priestahh and I was like, okay, if he reads this other spawn in the back side of things, like maybe New York can get something going. But unfortunately for him, since some of his teammates were pushed up A side, the player spawns right next to him and shuts him down. And you think that's game over. It's 3v, who knows how many Boston had, but it was Skyz and HyDra and Priestahh that won every single gunfight they needed to win in consecutive time. It was the kill in the back, then it was the kill on the guy L, and then it was the final kill in top bedroom. It was the stack. It was just a beautiful comeback by New York.
You just won control with a .68 and a .64 from your best players. Let's take a look, though, at our Scump play of the game because it's teamwork. Doesn't matter your KD as long as you're playing the objective perfectly. Priestahh getting the opening pick. You see Skyz and HyDra also in the feed. We take a look at it all at once, Allie. Everybody playing their part, and then all 3 jumping on the hill at once.
Yep, like I said, it was them getting that kill on the player in the deep back and the player on L at the exact same time, and they all knew the last player was going to be top bed. They team shoot that guy, and then they pull in the stack.
You know, this also kind of stems from that like overcommitment over towards A earlier in that round as well. I know that they did get a lot of kills. They did have 2 streaks, but you were never able to get a firm grip on the map. Like get pushed up bed, get pushed up mid map, and you find yourself in that situation. Very tough for Boston. They also probably could have won map 1 too, Chris.
Boston dropped 78 kills between 2 players and lost the game. I'm still confused, but maybe KiSMET can explain it. KiSMET, welcome back to the winner's circle, my friend. First of all, what's up? How the hell do you guys get outslayed like that and still win control? What were the comms like during that game 3?
We did not deserve to win that map. We were getting smoked gunfight wise. I think our game plan going into it was pretty good. We just, I don't know, we were getting so like, I credit to them, they were piecing. So like whenever that happens, we get a little flustered, and that's a big thing that we need to focus on.
Okay.
But overall, I mean, I don't know. I guess like the teamwork in the sense made it like, I guess, us clutch, but we didn't deserve to win that.
Fair enough. KiSMET, I do have to say, you know, there's a lot of teams that are 4-1 right now. I feel like we're finally starting to see some separation. I wanted to ask what you think New York brings to the table that makes them different from the rest of these top teams.
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I guess like our talent ceiling is very high. We have 4 extremely talented players that have showcased their talent this year, prior years, etc. So I think that's like one of our biggest things that we have like behind us. Other than that, I think our S&D has just been looking phenomenal lately. Like every play that we've made, then every adjustment that we're making, like it's setting us kind of like how Major 1 was. I think that was our big like reason that we won that tournament, I guess.
Awesome, thank you.
KiSMET, I want to ask you, you know, in that series, HyDra had some slow starts, you yourself as well, but you guys still get the win. A great example of good teamwork. Where do you feel like you guys have improved most in the preparation for this stage? Because you guys look ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, like back to the S&D, I think we've improved a lot there. I think the biggest thing though is like what you saw on the map 3. Like we're trying to, I guess, like we have superstars, right? Paco is gross. He's gonna pop off 9.9 times out of 10, and then the one time that if he doesn't, like we want to make sure that like we can win whenever he's not doing good, or if I'm not doing good, or whatever the case may be. And I think it showcased today, obviously, with that control win. And I don't know, I just think that's like our big thing is just fine-tuning our game plan so that the game feels easy, if that makes sense.
Bulldog, congrats on a 4-1 record. We officially know you will have the 4th seed going up against Vegas in the 5th seed.
Sweet.
How do you feel about your first round matchup in the winner's bracket?
I mean, I don't know. Was you 100% playing Vegas? I mean, I don't know, that org, dude, you know, I got history with him. I'm coming. But I love the guys on the team. I love the guys on the team.
KiSMET versus Quaster. That's my first round battle. I can't wait to see you next week, bud.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
That's KiSMET as the Subliners pick up our final win of the qualifier. Let's take a look back at all 3 battles, though, on our final Sunday. We all started with a matchup that, well, was going to have important significance on our seeding. We're the Surge. Going to move up to 4-1. The answer was a hot 3-0 yes.
Yeah, all of our games are 3-0s. All the favorites won today, and I think this one was certainly not a surprise by a minute or a mile. It was Seattle Surge showing some serious dominance in that respawn, and even their search and destroy has been looking a lot cleaner as of late.
That was a big win. A couple clutches in the S&D. Mack had himself a hell of a performance. And then they come back in the control to win it as well. So big day by Surge. They're looking great.
Minnesota put back on fraud alert when they played against LA Thieves today. Minnesota had an opportunity to battle for a top 4 spot. Instead, they're going to end with our 7th seed and are going to be facing off against the same squad next week. But they'll be doing it in winners bracket round 1 of the major.
Yeah, I mean, a tough situation for the Minnesota Røkkr. They had opportunity there in that first hard plant, but then they allow LA Thieves to put them in the spawn trap for P1, and then they allowed Octane to 3-piece them off of P2, which you just cannot let that happen when it's a 1v4 on the hill. Following that, I mean, it was an abysmal search and destroy and a clean sweep on the Expo controls. So Minnesota Røkkr, a lot to work on in the coming days, and the major's just a few away.
Nameless, you worried about this? Are you playing all new maps next week?
Are you talking about Minnesota Røkkr?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys are 0-12 map count against the Thieves. They see them in the bracket and they're terrified.
Bad news for Minnesota. Not their best matchup from the opportunities they had in the top 4. Thieves looking clean so far as we close out qualifier number 4, and you can see they are right behind OpTic with the 2 seed. Surge will finish with number 3 seed, just 2 maps ahead of the Subliners, who finish in your top 4. When it comes to that winners bracket, though, it includes all top 8. We've got OpTic versus Breach, Subliners taking on Legion, Thieves versus Røkkr, and I have to say, it sucks if you are either a FaZe or a Surge fan. Having the Surge play FaZe in the first round is devastating for both lineups that went to that Game 5 round 11 in their last meeting.
We saw 3 of these matches within the past week. We just saw LA Thieves smoke Røkkr. We just saw Seattle Surge smoke FaZe yesterday, and we saw OpTic smoke Breach like 2 days ago. I mean, rematch galore.
And of course, if you lose between OpTic and Breach, you're playing Toronto Ultra, winner of our last major in the first round of the losers bracket. Next week is going to get nutty, but here's where we stand as we close out our qualifiers entering the major. Nameless, what stands out to you most on this sheet?
That Vegas Legion are in the top 8, baby. They really are coming for it. Also, Boston Breach, I mean, they have a date with OpTic. If they lose that and fall into losers, could be an early exit. We might see them get toppled.
There we go, and I'm told we have a tweet to show the people. Daniel says, Champs announcement on Monday morning. Thank you for your patience, and thank you all in advance for joining us for the most lit event of the season. We'll see you all next week for a very rowdy 420. Thank you all for joining us, and any final thoughts before we get to this major?
No. See you guys in a couple days.
Nameless?
I'm ready to do it. Let's get it.
I'm hopping into rank. Come see me, kids. I'll be in Platt when you get off work.
Closer than it appears, trying to take it to another tier. Prime time, yeah, my moment is here, yeah. I ride the nation for my title, do what I must for survival. By any means, yeah, I know, I can't stop, I won't fold. Might bend the rules just to break the mold. Hella high water, calm and compose. Life will get messy, but I reach the goal. Climb the totem pole, be the protocol. Yes, I had it in me after all. After plenty falls and a lot of false things I can't control. My intentions come from years of rejections. Learn many a lesson, I'm progressing. Turning burdens to blessings, turning burdens to blessings. I'm in it for the long run. I'm a problem to my problems. Fighting through the tears, fighting in my fears. See my past in the mirror. Closer than it appears. Trying to take it to another tier. Prime time, yeah, my moment is here. Yeah, get a spotlight and it feels right. Never been scared to take it to new heights. I always dare to dream and dare to see the chance to be a better me and everything. The possibilities are endless. Odds against this tremendous. Check this, I just check fear off my checklist. You must have forgot, boy, I'm relentless. I'm in it for the long run. I'm a problem to my problems. Fighting through the tears, fighting in my fears.